This is the Silva Expedition Global Compass. The base plate on this compass is the same as they use on the standard Silva Expedition, but if you want the global needle, then you can expect to pay approximately 30% extra. Like all base plate compasses, this is very simple to use with a map. Just put the compass onto a map so the edge is touching the start point and the destination. Rotate the bezel until the orienting arrow is pointing up the map or north, and the direction in degrees is shown under the index mark. To follow the bearing, just rotate the whole compass until the needle is directly over the orienting arrow, red in the shed, and then follow the direction indicated by the direction arrow. It has 3 romers for use with different scale maps, and there is a metric and an imperial ruler on the edge of the base plate. There's also a number of luminous marks for using it at night. It has a rubber dial with large indentations which should make it easier to rotate when wearing gloves, and there is an inclinometer for measuring slope angles. It's got semi-permanent declination adjustment, and this can be used by just turning the small screw in the top of the bezel, and the screwdriver for this is held inside the lanyard clasp. The scaled lanyard can be used to measure longer routes on a map. So that's the compass described. Next, what do I think is good or bad about this compass? As Silva have moved one of the friction feet further away from the dial, so they've had to move the magnifying area, and this means that there's no room for a parallax line. And a parallax line is one of the most useful tools on Silva compasses, for advanced users wanting to take accurate compass bearings from a map without the possibility of parallax errors. On the romers, the font used is clearer than on some other Silva compasses, but the same can't be said for the cardinal points, which are for some reason in the same colour as the dial, so they may as well not be there at all. On this particular compass, the needle hasn't been positioned on the pin correctly in the factory, so it will only work when the compass is held at an angle. The degree markings are printed in black with a large font on a white background. This is really clear and it's a good idea, and the long base plate makes it easy to use when you're planning longer routes. Would I buy this global compass for my personal use? No, as global needles are not as rugged as standard needles, and I don't like paying for things which aren't really needed. And let's face it, hardly anybody actually needs a global compass. I don't. An inclinometer is never needed, as you can use the compass needle to measure slope angles. Also, setting the declination permanently in some cases actually makes the compass more difficult to use. But having said all that, these are good quality, solidly built compasses, and the needle settles really quickly. So I would give it marks out of 10, I would give it a 6.